when you go to places on a normal basis, you get to know the customs and stuff pretty well, and sometimes you find yourself doing them if you're there for an elongated period of time, which sometimes is cool, sometimes it's kind of weird. But I think too, it's more of like a comfort, or not a comfort, but more of like a security blanket for yourself to try to just like fit in and not be the tourist. So you're like, oh yeah, what do they do? You kind of sit back and observe. You're like, oh, what do they do? Like, you know, what do they like? You know, what's their slang terms for like different things that they do in the city or whatever, wherever we are. I try to pick up on that, which is kind of interesting. It makes me appreciate where I come from, but it also makes me appreciate like what's out there. I've been to I've been lucky enough. You know, I'm only 25, and I'm lucky enough to the point where like I've been to more places than most people will probably go in their entire lifetime. In that aspect, I feel really lucky and blessed. But there's so many more places I want to see. You know, especially like Europe, Asia, things like that. So it just like feeds like kind of like the explorer in me, I guess you could say. You know, yeah, I'm the baby of the group. It was weird at first. You know, I still get the, oh, you're too young to be a pilot. Oh, how old are you? And like sometimes I'll kind of like screw around them if I know they'll take the joke. I'll be like, oh, it's bring your son to work day. It's cool because, you know, on a whole, everyone has such a different background as far as how they got into flying or what they did prior to what they're doing now. You know, we had guys that flew in the Navy and guys that were in the Marine Corps and, you know, guys that did the same route I did doing the civilian track. That's one thing I like flying with the older guys is I'll learn a lot from them because they've seen a lot more than I have seen so far. And they'll teach me a lot of the tricks that a lot of the younger guys don't know yet. So that part's pretty cool. You know, that overall I think will make me a better pilot in the future. But I upgraded to captain in April, which was like, it's exciting, but I was also like scared because now I'm in command. You know, before I was like a co-pilot, first officer. I'm like, oh yeah, you can kind of lean on the captain to a certain extent, you know, because they make all the final decisions. But now I was put in that scenario, so that took some getting used to. But I think once you realize, you know, once you prove to them that you're just another pilot and you don't screw up, that, you know, they'll view you like just anybody else. So. Yeah, 2 summers ago we were coming back from the West Coast and it had been a long day. The clouds were so dark, it was like so eerie. Where he popped out and we just see like this big wall cloud of like just gray, dark, black, like nasty looking thunderstorm just like on the other side of the airport. And we're like, if we have to go around, we're not going around because we're not flying into that. So we made sure we got on the ground, but it was pretty stressful. Being a pilot, it's planning. You always want to have a way out. You never want to get yourself backed into a corner. So, and that's something they teach you from day one, and you just carry it over. Pilots overall, they have that type A personality. They're very competitive, which you kind of need. And, you know, we feed off each other. You know, we're always like, oh yeah, who can do a better landing, things like that. You know, we're always pushing ourselves to do better and better, and I think that makes you better overall. But there's a time though where, you know, you cross that fine line of, you know, confidence and go over to cockiness, and that part, you know, you don't want to do that. So you gotta always make sure you're always in check and make sure you're not crossing that line.